you've spent the majority of your life working, grafting, enduring the 9-to-5 grind, and surrendering yourself to the pressures of a working society. You've been answering to bosses, colleagues, or customers for the majority of your days, rarely indulging in what really makes you happy. And then one day, it all ends. Freedom. Suddenly, you're in control of what you can do with your time. Your dreams can become a reality. Whether that's in the form of walks to the beach, vacations to foreign lands, or collecting 100-year-old coins. Each to their own. Everything you've ever wanted right at your fingertips. But how the hell are you going to pay for it? Well, for us Brits, that's where the UK state pension comes in. You spend your whole life working, paying taxes, and contributing to national insurance, and at the end of it, we get a free little gift known as the state pension. So how exactly do you qualify for the state pension? How much are you going to get? Are there any unique circumstances that you need to know about? And finally, is it ever worth deferring your state pension? Don't worry, because in today's video, we're going to go through all of these questions for you. Let's get into it. In today's video, we're going to go through everything that you could possibly need to know regarding the UK state pension. If you want to see this information for yourselves, then you can check it out on the government's website. We'll leave a link to it in the comments below. They have all of the information that you need presented in a relatively easy to follow format. Just note that for all of the information on UK state pensions, you may need to navigate their website a bit as it's not all in the same place. Or you could just watch this video instead, where we aim to make all of the content a little more digestible. As we said, all of the information on their website is a little spread out, so we're going to break it down into a different format that should be even easier to follow. We're first going to talk about how you qualify for the state pension, exactly how much you're going to get, we'll go through some unique circumstances, and finally we'll talk about deferring your state pension and whether it's actually worth it. Quick disclaimer, at iQinvesting we are not licensed financial planners, we're just amateurs with an interest in all things personal finance. So if you need any advice for your own personal circumstances, you should contact a professional. Also, a lot of the information in this video is based on the new state pension, as opposed to the older basic state pension. If you reach the state pension age before the 6th of April 2016, then you would receive the old basic state pension. However, if you reach the state pension age after April the 6th of 2016 or on that date, then you will receive the new state pension. The state pension age, funnily enough, is the age at which you'll start receiving your state pension. This is determined by your date of birth. The previous generation reached the state pension age at 65. However, it is now increasing. Depending on your date of birth, you could reach the state pension age anywhere between 66 and 68 years old. The government's website has a simple tool where you just put in your date of birth and it calculates your state pension age for you. I'll leave a link to that in the comments. In summary, if you're born before April 1960 and haven't retired yet, your state pension age will be 66. If you're born between April 1960 and April 1977, your state pension age will be 67. And if you're born after this date, your state pension age will be 68. This age, however, could be subject to change due to increasing life expectancies, so don't get your hopes up yet. Once you reach the state pension age, you will start to receive the state pension if you have at least 10 qualifying years on your national insurance record. To get a qualifying year, you need to meet one of these three conditions. Number 1, you were working and paid national insurance contributions. Number 2, you were getting national insurance credits. Or number 3, you were paying voluntary national insurance contributions. To make it more clear, we'll go over these conditions in a little more detail. Let's start with number 1. You will have likely seen national insurance contributions be deducted from your payslip over your working years. They use this to help you qualify for certain benefits such as the state pension. So yes, that does mean that the state pension isn't really free. You've kind of been paying for it all along. If you're employed and earn over £183 a week from one employer, you'll be making national insurance contributions. An exception to this is if you earn less than £183 a week, but earn over £120 a week from one employer, then you won't be paying national insurance contributions, but you may still get a qualifying year. On to number 2. You can get national insurance credits if you claim child benefits, get job seekers allowance or employment and support allowance, or if you get carers allowance. So you don't necessarily have to be working in a year for it to qualify towards your state pension. And finally, on to number 3. You can pay voluntary national insurance contributions if you're not in one of these groups, but you still want to increase the amount of state pension that you're going to get. This is most commonly applicable to self-employed workers. Don't worry if you end up missing out on a qualifying year. The years that you build up don't have to be consecutive, they can be in separate chunks. So let's say you've done it. You've qualified after years of hard work. Let's get into the good stuff. Exactly how much are you going to get from a new UK state pension? Well, the full amount is £175.20 per week, or £9,110.40 per year. As mentioned before, you need at least 10 qualifying years on your national insurance record to get the state pension, but you actually need 35 qualifying years to qualify for the full amount. Since the state pension changed in 2016, the rules on how much you get is a bit complicated, but bear with me, once you understand it, it's not so bad. Many people made national insurance contributions before April 2016, when the rules were a bit different, so the circumstances are a bit unique. Your national insurance record before April of 2016 is used to calculate your starting amount. Your starting amount is the highest of the two options. Number 1, the amount that you would have got under the old basic state pension rules, or number 2, the amount that you would have got if a new state pension was in place when you started working. If your starting amount is less than the full new state pension, then you can use any contributions made after April 2016. You can do this until you reach a full new state pension amount or until you reach a state pension age. Every qualifying year made after April 2016 adds around £5 a week to your new state pension. So let's say your starting amount is £100 per week, but then after April 2016 you have another 10 qualifying years on your national insurance record. This adds another £50 per week to your state pension, which results in you having a state pension of £150 per week. If you're lucky enough that your starting amount was actually higher than the full new state pension at £175.20 a week, then you get to keep it. This is known as your protected payment. Unfortunately, you won't be able to add any more to this amount as you've already exceeded the maximum limit. If you haven't made any national insurance contributions before April 2016, then luckily the calculations are a little more simple. Again, you'll need 10 qualifying years up to a maximum of 35 qualifying years. All you have to do is divide £175.20 by 35 and multiply it by the number of qualifying years that you have. So if you have 25 qualifying years, then you'll receive around £125 per week. If you have 40 qualifying years, then you'll just get the maximum amount at £175.20. If you're worried about the money printer going and your pension losing value due to inflation, well, don't worry, you don't have to, thanks to the triple lock system. This means that each year the state pension will increase by whichever is the largest out of these three options. Number 1, the average percentage growth in wages in Britain. Number 2, the percentage growth in prices in the UK as measured by the Consumer Prices Index, or CPI. Or 3, 2.5%. This guarantees that your pension should increase by at least 2.5% each year, so it should outpace inflation, even if there is a lot of going on. Just bear in mind that £175.20 a week, or £9,110.40 in a year, is considered to be quite low when compared to the cost of living in the UK. This emphasises the importance of building up other types of retirement savings or pension funds. It's worth mentioning that you can still receive a state pension even if you have other forms of income. Just bear in mind that the state pension will be taxed like every other form of income, in the form of income tax. These incomes can include incomes from other pensions, from investments and property, or even from working. The amount of tax that you pay will depend on what bracket of income tax you fall into. I'll make sure to leave a table on the screen so you can decide that for yourselves. There are some circumstances where you could earn less than the state pension if you were previously contracted out. This was common for people working in the public sector before April 2016. You will have paid less national insurance contributions and you'd have paid into a different type of pension instead. This is no longer possible as of April 2016, but your starting amount, which we mentioned earlier, may have already been deducted. To check if you were contracted out, you just need to check your old payslips. You were contracted out if the national insurance contributions line has the letter D or N next to it. You are not contracted out if it has the letter A. There are a few other special circumstances that you need to be aware of, such as being able to receive an extra payment on top of your new state pension if you were previously widowed. Just bear in mind that if you remarry or form a civil partnership before you reach your state pension age, you will not be able to inherit anything. So you have to make a choice. It's either the new partner or the new state pension. You decide. If you happen to live or work in another country, then you may be able to contribute to that country's pension scheme. If you worked in another country and in the UK, then you may be eligible for a combination of both state pensions. To check if you've paid into or received a state pension from another country, contact that country's pension service. These special circumstances that we just discussed are obviously pretty unique, and they can vary quite a lot based on your personal circumstances. So, if any of them apply to you, I recommend looking on the website for a bit more detail. So, you've reached the state pension age and you're ready for your golden years, and you want the new state pension to fund all of your wildest dreams. Well, it's not going to come automatically. You need to remember to claim it. You should get a letter no later than 2 months before you reach your state pension age telling you exactly what you need to do. If you haven't received a letter, but you're within 4 months of reaching your state pension age, you can claim for it yourself. The quickest way to do this is online. but you can also download a form and send it to your local pension centre or phone the pension service to get a state pension claim form posted to you. It's important to note that you can still claim for your state pension if you carry on working. Just remember that this will increase your total income and it could increase the amount of tax that you pay on your state pension. But if you're not quite ready for your state pension yet, then you have the option to defer. But why would you do this? What are the benefits? And is it actually worth it? If you want to defer your state pension, you have to quite simply do nothing. Your state pension will be automatically deferred until you choose to claim it. If you do defer your state pension, the weekly payments that you receive will increase. The payments increase by 1% for every 9 weeks that you defer. So, for a full year of deferral, your payments will increase by 5.8%. If you defer for a full year, you will receive an extra £10.16 per week, taking your payments up to £185.36 per week, or £9,638.72 for the full year. Well, the big question is this actually worth it? You're delaying getting payments now to increase the amount that you're getting in the future. But do you actually benefit from this? This isn't a straightforward problem to solve, as it actually depends on how long you live for. The longer you live, the more of the higher payments that you will get that will give you more of a chance to make up the money that you deferred in the first place. To help visualize this, we made a graph to show a few different deferral options. It shows the total payments on the y-axis and the years after reaching the state pension age on the x-axis. The deferred payments obviously start a year later, so they have some catching up to do. But the gradients of the lines are steeper as you receive higher payments. As you can see, the break-even point is around the 20-year mark. To make it more clear, we'll change the axis and zoom in on this point. The lines don't actually intersect at the same points. In fact, the longer you defer for, the longer you have to wait for the deferral to become worth it. A 9-week deferral pays off after 17.5 years, whilst a 3-year deferral pays off after 23 years. So how do we determine if this is actually worth it? To help us decide, it's important to consider the average life expectancy. As of 2018, the average life expectancy in the UK is 81. The shortest deferral of 9 weeks pays off after 17.5 years. Given that the current state pension age is at 68, this means that you would have to reach 85 years old until it starts paying off. Comparing this to the average life expectancy at 81 means that you are statistically unlikely to benefit from deferring your state pension. Ultimately though, the choice is down to you. If you live a healthy lifestyle, you may have more chance of living for longer and benefiting from a deferral. But if you live an unhealthy lifestyle, then this means the opposite. Or you could drink from the Holy Grail and live for 700 years like this dude. Or drink from a wrong cup and you might not even reach the state pension age. So the state pension is a form of income that we receive based on how much we contributed to national insurance during our lifetime. You'll receive £175.20 for the full state pension. This likely won't be enough to cover your cost of living, but it's definitely significant. You can choose to defer the new state pension for a boost later on, but it is statistically unlikely that you will benefit from this unless you exceed the average life expectancy in the UK. We hope that you now understand everything that you need to know when it comes to the state pension, and that you can use it to fulfill your wildest dreams in your retirement. Make sure to smash the like button if you found the video useful, and subscribe to the channel for more weekly content just like this. You can also follow us on Instagram at iQinvesting UK for more IQ investing content. As always, thanks for watching.